So, how many of you can tell me if this sounds way too familiar? You're walking up to one of your kids' games, and all the parents are like, "So, how many games do you have today?" It's like the official small talk line for every sports parent out there. And every time someone asks, I have to take a deep breath before answering because honestly, my answers are loaded because I lose count between soccer, tennis, diving, coaching. Our weekends are non-stop. This Sunday alone, we had 5 soccer games and 2 tennis matches, and that's not even counting Saturday's lineup, which we had to coach 3 to 5-year-old soccer. We had early morning tennis practice and platform diving in the afternoon. It's chaos, organized chaos, but still chaotic. Like, when do we get a break? And this is not just one weekend. This has been our life for the past 2 months. It's like every weekend is a marathon, and I am literally exhausted. I woke up this morning at 7:32 in hysterics. It's like Home Alone where they wake up and the wife is like, "Kevin, we slept in." That's exactly how I felt because seriously, my kid had a soccer game at 8:30 and it takes us like 30 minutes to get there, and we were supposed to be there like 20 to 30 minutes early. So already we're late. Even if we just left when we left, we would have been late. But that's not even counting getting ready, getting the water bottle ready, eating breakfast, like none of that. And of course, the tooth fairy came and visited last night. So the kids are showing off their presents, and it's like, okay, can we get ready here? Because we have places to be, people to see, and there is no place and no time for fun right now. Oh my goodness. Oh man, it's like we wake up early, load the car with snacks, chairs, water bottles, cleats, rackets, sunscreen, you name it. And by Sunday night, it feels like we've lived an entire week in just 2 days. Whew. I don't know about you, but I am ready for a break from this life. And the funny part is, it's become such a normal part of our lives that I don't even realize how much we're doing until someone asks this simple question. So, how many games do you have today? And it literally happens at every single game that we go to. So, we went to the 8:30 game this morning for my son, and they're like, "So, is this it for you guys?" And it's like, "Please, RJ, they just begun." Like, I have a cooler in the car packed with ham and cheese sandwiches, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I got protein balls. I got drinks galore. I got all kinds of snacks you can think of. I got I got 3 pairs of soccer uniforms. I got 2 tennis uniforms. I got extra clothes for myself, the kids, my husband. It's like, whew, we are going on a vacation every weekend. But the funny thing is, we're just going to soccer and tennis games. This is craziness. Oh, man. But I have to just laugh. And deep down, I'm thinking, like, when is this going to end? Because I am exhausted, like literally exhausted. And I don't know how many of you are in the same boat as I am, but it's unbelievable. Now, the winter season, I have to tell you, unfortunately, we did not sign up for league soccer. So, fortunately, our sons belong to this soccer organization where you can just go for trainings and you can decide if you want to play for games or not. And we were not going to play in any league games, but my husband's like, I don't see the point in playing for practice and we're not playing in any of the games. And I'm like, well, the whole purpose is that we want to build their confidence, their skills, and agility so that when we do play in the games, they will be successful. But I said, fine. I caved in. And now here we are. We're in 2 leagues for my middle son, 1 league for my younger son. which we sub in some other games. And then my daughter has 2 leagues. So that in total is 5 leagues in total for their soccer alone. Then we have tournament tennis in which my boys play. So we have at least 2 to 3 matches every Sunday, practice on Saturday mornings. Let me tell you, the last time that I actually slept in past 6:30, 7 o'clock was probably 2 months ago. And I don't have babies anymore, okay? Even when I had babies, they were sleeping 8 hours at 8 weeks. Like we had them beautifully sleep trained. And now I feel like I'm dying. I'm desperate for sleep because I don't get any. And so it's really wearing me thin. And I'm trying. I'm struggling. The title of this podcast is Struggle and Strength, Moms Balancing It All. And I'm definitely in that struggle portion and trying to strength push myself through. And I'm getting to my breaking point. So I'm hopeful that with the seasons ending in the next 2 weeks, I only have to do maybe 1, 2 more weekends of this crazy madness, and then I'll finally be able to sleep in again because I've been desperate for a good night's sleep. And you're thinking, okay, well, Nikki, you could go to bed early, but you know what? It's like today. My son asked me, Mommy, because have my laptop at the soccer game and we're in the car and I'm working on my projects. It's like, Mommy, why are you always working nonstop every day, all day long? And I said, well, Bubs, Mommy's building her business. And do you know what that means? He's like, yeah. And I told him, I said, I don't get a break. If I want to be successful, I have to work hard and get all my client stuff done. He's like, yeah, I know, Mommy. Your stuff is amazing. I mean, talk about wanting to cry right then. Like he gave me so many good compliments. I got an amazing compliment from my client today where I taken on a social media managing role, which I is very new for me to take on for another business. I've been doing it for myself, but not really necessarily for other businesses and brick and mortars, to be quite honest. And so I thought maybe that they weren't happy with what was going on. And I got this very pleasant message today that was super encouraging, saying that they're at a festival. They had someone stop by and say, I keep seeing your posts all over social media. Whoever is doing your Facebook post is doing an amazing job. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're talking about me. And I got so excited because here I am, of course, right? Exhausted, down on myself, questioning my abilities, doubt creeping in. And I get this amazing compliment. And I told my son, and he was like, well, Mommy, I want to compliment you too because you're the best mommy ever. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, how can you be upset or stressed or tired in a moment like that where your babies are like, Mommy, we love you and you're doing such a great job. It's like, oh my gosh. Pride moment for mommy. It's like I did something right because I have the best kids ever. But, here's where it gets really real. And I feel so terrible about what is going on because our kids start to notice when we're under stress and when we've taken on too much. So, my husband comes home. We drove separately to a couple of the events today because they were in different locations at the exact same time. But we met up gracefully. Went in one car for the times that we could. And then we went separately on our way home. And on the way home, afterwards, my husband said, you know what? Your son told me in the car that he didn't want to play futsal anymore, which we had just basically signed him up for. And he's been on the roster. He's been a chosen one, carefully selected by the coach to play in the games, which is an extra benefit that we don't have to pay for, first of all, which is an added bonus. but it's a great honor. And he told my husband, "Daddy, I don't wanna play futsal anymore." And he was like, I'm sorry, what?" Like, first of all, we just started paying for this. Second of all, you just started playing. And third of all, the coach has hand select picked you to play on his team. They see how much time, money, and energy it takes to make all of this events happen, and they're starting to feel bad about it. And so my son was saying that he knows it's an extra cost and that we're already so busy. He doesn't want to add another event to our day. And it's like, oh my gosh, heart crushing at that moment. Because as parents, we do all of this for them to give them experiences, the opportunities, the lessons that come from being on a team, that come from the experience of being, selected to being the top choice. But what happens is that they start seeing it as a burden instead of a blessing. And I don't want and so I had to ask him, I said, "Babe, like, why did you tell daddy this?" And he was like, "Well, it's an extra expense." And I was like, "No, no, 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 no. The training is an extra expense, but the games, those are free. The coach is paying for those himself with the players that he hand selects, and he has chosen you." And I was like, and second of all, your season is ending in 2 weeks, and this futsal season is just beginning. And he was like, "Oh, I didn't know that." And it's so sad that he is willing to give up this excellent opportunity because he sees how much we're stressed out. He sees how exhausted we all are. He sees that it's like costing extra money. And he's worried about all of that and taking that in consideration and sacrificing his own joy, which he's been doing actually today. Yesterday, no, he didn't play yesterday. He played 2 games today. Sorry, correct myself. And he played probably the best games he's played thus far this season in these past 2 games. And he's been going to futsal. I think he's really getting his confidence in going to the futsal in which he didn't have before. And also, we're not putting as much pressure on him. So I feel like he's finally getting what I wanted him to get out of this season, which was confidence, skills, and agility. Like I said, I didn't want to do any leagues, but we end up doing them. But next season, we are not. And mark my words, please, if I come back here in 2 weeks and I tell you we're doing a season, you have all the rights to get on here and yell at me and say, "Nikki, you said you weren't doing any more seasons." Because I don't want to do them anymore. And my kids, like, they're exhausted. They don't want to do them. So we are not doing any leagues. But we are doing futsal, and that is just an extra training and bonus if they get selected for the games. Other than that, it's just training for the boys. Nell, my daughter, unfortunately, she has to do games because that's just the league and the team that we signed her up for. But the boys, they don't. So we're not going to. Sorry, I had to take a drink of my wine because it is super late tonight, and I almost even didn't record this because I was so exhausted. I could have just fallen asleep in my bed, but I was like, no, because if I miss an episode, then I'm going to put it off and I'm not going to do it. And this is my 43rd episode, which means that I'm only 9 episodes away from a whole entire year of doing a podcast every week. So pat myself on the back. I'm going to give myself some accolades here and saying that I am so proud of the journey that I have accomplished, even though I am literally exhausted. So you guys are getting a very special episode tonight because I'm literally about to pass out. But I have my handy dandy wine here in my Halloween wine glass that says my blood type is wine. I hope you love that. And you know what? It's really funny. So my my middle son was like, "Mommy, I really wanna spend, winter break with your brothers and their families." And I was like, okay, weird, but sure," which we've been doing actually recently or the past couple of summers. We've been going, and spending time with my brothers and their families because it was one of my dad's wishes when he turned 80 years old this year. But the funny thing is that my brother has he has I have 3 brothers and one of them has 3 girls, and those 3 girls play soccer. And my parents just said that they are no longer doing soccer anymore because I said, "Well, we could get together in December, but I really want to travel." But my oldest brother said that because of the soccer with his girls, that they were traveling so much they didn't want to travel anywhere. And my mom goes, "Well, they're not playing soccer anymore." And I was like, "What?" Like, hold the phone here. That is crazy. And I was like, "Well, why not?" And she said, sorry, not he, but my mom said, because they're burned out. And honestly, I get it. I mean, they were doing travel soccer to try and go to all the tournaments to get into like the national tournaments, which we, thank goodness, haven't been on a team like that because honestly, I mean, all these teams, they keep doing these double leagues, and it is, yes, I get it, extra touches, right? These kids are 10, 8, 7, 6, 5, and you're putting them in 2 leagues every weekend, plus all their practices, plus they go to school, plus their other activities. It's too much. And I don't know about you, but I think we're pushing our kids too hard. I mean, there's girls on my daughter's soccer team that I'm seeing are getting burnt out, and maybe their parents aren't seeing it, but from the sidelines, their girls are not performing the way that they were 2 months ago. One of them has a personal trainer. She's 10 years old. Come on. Like, it I don't know. I guess to each their own. My goal for my kids for sports is 1, find something that they love. 2, keep them active so that they're healthy. 3, learn team sports, right? Like, you're a team, you play together, you work together, you complement each other. I don't want selfish little stubborn kids growing up, okay? 4, it helps them in all aspects of life. Being on a team, time management, team aspects, you know, growth and development individually as well as in a team atmosphere. There's so many good benefits of being on a team. But I feel like there's so many people that are pushing their kids to be the all-stars of the team. Now, I don't know about you, but the last time I spelled team, it was TEAM, not TEIAM, right? There's no I in team. There's just TEAM, okay? No I. And so no individual needs to be taking over the team, doing all of the kicks, ordering everybody around, playing all the positions, being the all-star, and everybody else is left to be on the sidelines. Now, when I coached soccer, I made sure there was no all-stars, right? I needed players that could play any position. If I needed a position, you go in. I mean, I had players that played goalie that never played goalie before in their lives, okay? But you make it happen. And if they are a good all-around sports player, which is what you hope to develop, then they can play any position and they can be a team player. But these parents are pushing for their kids to be these all-stars of the team, and they're gonna burn their kids out. So if you're one of those parents, I hate to call you out, but at the same time, take a step back and really think about what you're doing to your child. Are they wanting to be the next all-star Is that what they're gonna go to school for? Is that what their career is going to be about? Is that what they're gonna live to be for the rest of their life? I never grew up thinking I was gonna be a professional soccer player. I loved soccer and I played club in college. I played my whole entire life, but I never thought I'm going to go play for like the women's national team for the United States of America. Now, some people have that aspiration by all means. Some people are like, gymnastic stars and they start off early and they go straight into the Olympics. I get it. Go for it. That is what you're made for. But the majority of the population, not going to happen. You may play in college, you may not, but at the same time, what's the point of pushing so hard right now? Like children at the age of 8, 9, and 10 still have so many more years left to figure out, do they even like the sport they're playing? And I say that because we've done hockey, tennis, basketball, soccer, gymnastics, ballet, tap, t-ball. Gosh, what else? Football. Um, we have like archery, Girl Scouts. We've tried so many different things. And what the kids always come back to is soccer. Now my daughter loves diving, so that's a big one for us as well. And basketball. They love basketball. But baseball didn't really ever stick, and I'm not going to push it. Oh, and they love running, like track and field, I think would be a big one for us. But I think that they're too young right now. Now we do the turkey trot every year. They place, they've come in first and second every year, which is phenomenal. We run, 2 to 4 miles, 3 to 4 times a week. So when they want to in middle school, high school, whatever, do track and field by all means, sure. But everything that I want them to do, I want them to want to do. It's not because, and my husband always like, oh, well, they grew up playing soccer because you played soccer. No, it wasn't that. It was because, I mean, my 2 sons, that's the way they first started walking, was kicking a soccer ball. And they've loved the sport. Like when they're bored and they go outside and play, they kick the soccer ball around. That they love soccer. And if they came to me and said, "Mommy, I don't want to play anymore," but sure, let's try something different. Exactly what happened, and that's how we found diving, is that we were trying to get away from gymnastics, so we found diving, and how we were trying to get away from other things, so we found basketball, and we found hockey, and all these different other things. Like we're just trying different sports to see what works. And I love the boys in tennis. I love team sports which they're in tournament tennis, so they play as a team. But I also feel like the individual aspect of the team sport. So they're in tournament tennis, but they each play their own matches. I feel like that gives them more of like a self-worth where they feel like they are in charge of their destination. Now, when you're on the soccer field, there's so many people there, and it's like, well, mommy, how did I do? And I critique their individual play, but I'm coming to find out that also has a big effect of who's on the field at the time. Because the team that they're on right now, it's just like a bunch of bunch ball. There's 3 to 4 people of the same team around the ball at the exact same time. And it's not because they're playing bunch ball, it's because they all are ball hungry and they all have the skills and they're all trained that way to go for the ball. But it doesn't really reflect what's going on with my child. And so it's hard to gauge, okay, well, you didn't really engage, but it's like, but there was already 3 to 4 people engaging. So do I really want 5 people engaging? No, not really. So it's hard call. But, we push our kids hard when they're little because we think that that's what they need. We tell ourselves, we'll rest later. This is just the season of hustle. But here's the truth. If we're not careful, we're going to teach them that success only comes through exhaustion. And that's really funny. There was this woman that I joined her program recently, and she said that she saw her dad who had a full-time job, and she saw that the only way that he could earn extra money was through all these like side hustles and working 24/7. So she thought the only way to make money was to constantly work. And that's kind of what we're teaching our kids, is that success only comes if they work all the time. And that joy comes second to performance. That weekends are meant for competition instead of connection. And that's not exactly the message that I want to be sending, because I don't want that. I'm exhausted myself. Now, I loved when the kids were little. We went to every single festival. Like, we were busy nonstop. So I get it. I'm always a busybody, but I don't know if I'm getting too old for that, or if it's just I'm starting to see a different mentality. Ooh, I'm getting so tired. Sorry for my yawns. Ooh, ooh. Sorry, those are contagious. That was really bad. But I've started thinking that our weekends feel a lot like a relay race. We're sprinting from one thing to the next, passing the baton from one activity to another, and no one ever actually gets to cross the finish line. We just keep running. And the truth is, if we don't start pacing ourselves, we're all going to burn out before the kids even reach high school, because burnout just doesn't happen to the parents. It trickles all the way down to the kids. And that's what I'm seeing. Like, my brother's kids are burnt out. The kids on my daughter's soccer team I can see are burnt out. It's just, we've come to this society where, and maybe it's just the place that I live. I don't know. Maybe there's other places where things are more relaxed and it's not so crazy hustle, busy hustle every weekend. But I caught myself asking, when is enough enough, right? Like, do my kids really need to play 3 sports at once? Do I really need to coach on their team? Like, I've given up coaching, thank goodness. But I always keep thinking in my head, maybe I need to go back. No, no, Nikki, don't go back. Do we need every moment of our weekend to be scheduled down to the minute? No. No, we don't. And maybe it's okay to say no. Maybe it's okay to protect our time, even if that means playing one less sport or skipping a tournament. Because you know what? They just posted the last weekend of our season games. And let's be honest, it's like 8 o'clock in the morning game at a place that's over an hour away. I don't want to go. And then on Sunday night, there's a game at like 7 o'clock and an hour away. I don't want to go. And so my husband's like, then just say we're not going. Because at the end of the day, I don't want my kids to just learn how to win. I want them to learn how to rest, how to find joy, how to love what they do instead of just dreading it, going from place to place. Because let's be honest, the only thing that they want to do is have fun and play. They don't care where we go, what we do, but they don't want to be raced back and forth. When I had to wake them up this morning, like when I was in that panic, like, honey, we've slept in, like Home Alone. I went to go wake them all up and they're like, why? Can't, no, I don't want to go. No, why? Why do we have to get up? And I'm like, I know, I don't want to be up either. And so I just keep asking myself, why are we doing this? But as I mentioned, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. But mama, if your weekend looks like ours, packed, busy, chaotic, I see you. You're doing it out of love. You're showing up, you're cheering, you're doing your best. But if you're feeling burnt out, it's okay to push the pause button. It's okay to step back and ask yourself, what are we really trying to teach our kids here? Because one day these games are going to end. The trophies will all collect dust. I've got them up in our closet, all my kid trophies, and they're just collecting dust. But the lessons that they learn about balance, rest, joy, family time, that's what's going to last. And you know what the cutest part about it is that in the very beginning, before my husband said that he wanted to play in these leagues this spring, or what are we in, fall? I don't even know what season we're in. Is that my kids were like, you know what? I don't want to play games because I want family time. And my heart melted. Like, these are my boys too. Like, I expect that out of my daughter, but my boys, like, they just want playtime. They want family time. They want us to be home. They don't want to be racing from place to place to place. And you hear it. Like, they tell me all the time, "Mommy, I don't wanna do that. I don't wanna go there. I don't wanna do that. I just wanna stay home." My son was invited to play in a game on Saturday, and we were on our way home from tennis. It would have been a really, really big stretch to make it to the game, but we could have done it, I guess. I mean, I would have had to skip going to the grocery store and getting our groceries, but he told me, "Mommy, I don't wanna go. I just wanna rest." And I thought, "Oh my goodness. Okay." So I told him we couldn't make it, but that was the first time he's ever said that. I mean, this is the kid that plays soccer in his sleep probably, and he didn't wanna play. So I just, if you're at that point where you're feeling like it's too much, I guarantee you your kids are feeling the same way. So take a step back, look at your schedule, figure out, like, do we really wanna continue doing all of this, or is it best just to cut some things out and make our lives simpler? Because it's all about joy, love, happiness, having fun. And if you're not any of those things and your kids aren't having any of those things, then what's the purpose? So until next time, keep showing up, keep loving hard, and remember, you're doing better than you think.